Well, welcome everybody to another edition of the KARE 11 Sports Plus. I'm Julia Daniels. Nasser Kelvey is with me again. We are talking Timberwolves because this game's coming up in just a few minutes.
Elimination game.
I know.
Not for us, though.
Not for the Wolves. Not for the Wolves. Nasser, just your thoughts on the last game, what this team is looking like right now and headed into this matchup.
I wrote this down because I wanted to talk about this.
Okay.
Unguardable in the third quarter. Unwatchable in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Unwatchable. What was I watching? I have no idea. It made me a little bit sick to my stomach, to be honest, what was happening on the court with our starters out there, dude. We have Jaden McDaniels out there, and there's just no interest at all in playing defense or in scoring or anything. Overall, I'm really excited, though. Believe it or not, I'm actually really excited and really happy, and I believe in the Wolves. I think they're going to take this game.
I mean, this is something that I have been talking about for a while now, where the Wolves, they're just not so comfortable with the lead. You know, they just don't really like that spot. Yeah. It doesn't engage them, if you will. They prefer to back themselves into a corner, no matter what the rest of the game looks like, and then fight their way out because maybe it proves something to themselves. I'm not sure if that means that they're a better team because they do this, or if it means they're just don't know how to play consistently through four quarters.
And to me, it all comes down to Anthony Edwards. The team plays as he plays. I mean, we start out, and I mean, this is clearly part of the game plan. As you know, we start out with Julius Randle, really heavy on the ball. He's driving, he's shooting, he's doing everything he wants in the first quarter. The rest of the team tends to, unfortunately, kind of struggle in those situations. Anthony Edwards doesn't wake up, it seems like, until the second half in the playoffs. And part of that could be he's trying to rest. He doesn't want to go crazy until he has to go crazy. But as soon as Anthony Edwards starts making the shots, it seems like the rest of the team picks it up.
Yeah, he's kind of the spark plug for everybody else.
The leader.
But I will say, there are matchups where when Ant can't be that, other guys do step up, and that's the depth that we've always talked about when it comes to this Wolves team. However, if I'm looking at the win probability line graph that ESPN always puts out after a game ends, there's no, so the line graph goes as follows. So you have your positive axis and your negative axis, right? If you're in the negative, you're losing, or your probability of winning the game is not great. The only time that it was in Golden State's favor is right at the end of the second quarter and right at the start of the third quarter. They're flying high, straight and narrow for the rest of that. So I think as worried as you get, Nasser, it's okay to have a little confidence.
Yeah.
A little confidence.
People often say I don't believe in the Wolves enough.
Yeah.
People
never say that about Nasser.
We were like, Nasser, you should be more optimistic about the Timberwolves.
Yeah, no one ever says that about Nasser. Nasser's been saying they're going to win the NBA championship since March?
Probably since tip-off of the first game.
I mean, you believed it long.
It's been a while. It's been a few months
since
now.
The first game.
Yeah, October, I think it was. Sometime in late October, potentially, is when I had my initial prediction in.
Oh, okay, all right. They look pretty good out
I
there.
didn't say it on camera until my first appearance on the show.
Yeah, that's true. And I'll give you that kudos. But we're talking about, we're talking about a game 5 here, and back at Target Center too. The way that the Wolves are able to perform at Golden State says something that I really hate to bring up because I feel like we're beating it like a dead horse. But it's just sad as a basketball fan to not see Steph out there. Yeah. So my question for you, Nasser, is, as a Wolves fan yourself.
I mean, I'm unbiased, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. But as somebody that's followed the Wolves your entire life
sure.
and is slightly emotionally invested in this team, my question for you is, would you rather the Wolves be playing the Warriors with Steph right now, or are you like totally fine, we don't need to prove anything, let's just win this series and move on?
Here's what I will say. I'm going to answer your question, but there's something, the point that I think needs to be made first. Everyone's making a huge deal. No Steph Curry, no Steph Curry. I get it. Steph Curry, unquestionable, greatest shooter of all time, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He would absolutely be changing the series right now. Every one of Golden State's championships that they won, they played hurt rosters. That's the reality of the playoffs. And if you build your team around a guy who's one of the oldest players, this would be like if the Wolves are built around Mike Conley. If you build your team around a guy who's going to be that old, and again, there's nothing wrong with being 37, 38, however old Steph is.
Right.
You cannot be shocked when he gets hurt after playing 7 tough physical games against the Rockets. And that's what happened. Yes, as a fan of basketball, as an unbiased person on this show, I do wish Steph Curry was playing. I think it'd be a lot more fun if Steph Curry was playing because this Warriors team does not have anybody. worth watching, to be honest. So,
Sheesh.
no disrespect
No
to a lot of the
disrespect,
guys.
Jimmy.
Disrespect to Jimmy, but no disrespect to anybody else. The rest of the guys, you know what, they're doing their best. Shout out to Pat Spencer. He deserves a shout out.
Hey, all right.
He had a little hook shot over Julius Randle in game 1. I like that.
There you go.
A little bit of sauce on it.
You're still a fan of basketball at the end of the
Indeed.
day. That's the main thing, right? Let's also talk about the way that the guys, first of all, let's talk about Julius Randle. Does everyone owe Julius Randle an apology?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me say everyone does.
Yeah.
And I will be on the first of the list of people to apologize to Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Julius Randle, I am sorry. I am sorry, Julius Randle. I did not believe in you. I should have believed in you. I wasn't patient. I should have been patient. I believe in you now more than anybody else in the world. You are going to carry this team. Not carry. You're going to help carry this team to a championship this year.
My thinking, I think I also owe Julius Randle an apology. I owe Julius an apology because I was a little bit unsure.
Let him hear it, please.
Look him dead
Speak
in the
to the
eyes.
camera.
I'm sorry, Julius, because when you came back from injury, I was not expecting you to be the player that you have been and been so consistent through all of that. He's so crucial in every win that's happened since he came back from that injury.
Yeah.
And he came back. Here's another thing, too. So the TV only tells you so much. When you see this guy in person, because obviously we cover him in person all the time, he's bigger, stronger, and more cut since he came back from injury. Not sure how that happened, but other athletes should be taking notes of whatever he decided to do in that off time. So I think that that's been a huge, it was key to this Wolves team and what they are right now, but also the adversity that they faced, I think, is kind of helping them, which is kind of what we were talking about earlier when it comes to digging themselves their own little hole that they like to dig out of as well. Just getting some exercise. That's all that's happening there. But I also want to talk about Ant because he's not been so consistent.
Correct.
Either. Obviously, tonight is a win and move on situation, but you win and you move on. And I feel like that's when he really has to step up because obviously it would be Western Conference Finals. How do you think that this team is working in a way that they're trying to win and move on but not get too far ahead of themselves too?
I think it's a really interesting point, and I think specifically when it comes to Ant, this is kind of his thing, and this is kind of what people are saying. What Wolves fans are talking about. We're just talking to our EP Lauren about this. Is that there's this idea that Ant is intentionally kind of resting himself. The first half of the game, he wants the game to kind of be dictated. He's hoping that this team can just go crazy.
Yeah.
You saw in the last game, he's driving to the paint when there's 4 guys standing in there now. He said, "Okay, we're down. We're down at halftime against this Golden State Warriors team without Steph Curry. I need to take the game in my own hands." And he's done that pretty consistently. So as inconsistent as he's been, and I'll agree with you, if you look at the whole game, he's inconsistent. If you look at the second half alone, he's extremely consistent, I would say. Right.
This is something that we saw all the way back to Game 1 with the Lakers. We're like, where's Ant?
Yeah.
Where is this guy? It's kind of like his game plan has shifted in a way. And I think this has a lot to do with him watching film with Chris Hine, too, which he mentions him in every interview that he does now because he's finally watching film, right? This is a guy that's not like, oh, we're just go out and ball. Like, I've been doing this my whole life. Now he's like, oh, wait, there's a method to this, and there's a basketball IQ that I can acquire that would make me even better than I already am. It's like he's all of a sudden unlocked the code to all of that. But he is watching these teams and how they defend not only him, but everybody else. And then he's going to his team at halftime and saying, this is what I saw because of what he's learned throughout the year of watching film. And this is what we can do to adjust. And the Wolves, like we've talked about so many times, have the depth to do that. And dare I say, I don't want to jinx anything here, but I got faith in the Wolves tonight that they're going to take care of business. But when it comes to who they end up playing in the Western Conference Finals, whether it's OKC or the Nuggets, it's going to be a totally different challenge for them. So it'll be interesting to see, should they move on, how they adjust in that way, because I think either of those teams will be the hardest team that they have played a series against this whole postseason. But tonight, obviously, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. They've got to take care of business against the Warriors. So your predictions, Nasser, for tonight's matchup in Game 5?
I got the Timberwolves winning.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
I got the Timberwolves winning this game 126 to 95.
Oh, okay.
Easy.
Okay.
Light work.
126 to 95.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that is a bold prediction. I have got. Listen, the Wolves are
Unbiased. Let's so we're clear. This is not me saying I'm a
Unbiased.
Wolves fan. This is what I want to happen. This is my analysis of what I've seen so far in the series.
You know, if we're gonna have life be about balance, Wolves are a 10.5-point favorite. They don't tend to play well when they're a 10.5-point favorite. So I unfortunately would not be so shocked if the Wolves dropped this game tonight, even though they are a Target Center. Also, wouldn't be surprised if they won as well. I think it's just the Wolves have yet this entire season to prove to me that they have a consistent way of winning games. And I also think that this is the NBA postseason and anything can happen. I do have confidence in the Wolves, but I'm just gonna play a little devil's advocate here and say Vegas wants them to win, so the Wolves are gonna be like, no.
What's the score going to be?
It's gonna. I think it's gonna be tight though. I think it's gonna be. If anything, if the Wolves are to lose, no one's breaking 100. That's what I think.
Sure.
I say I would go 98, 96.
And you think the Warriors are coming out on top?
If the Warriors won, if the Warriors win, I don't think anybody breaks 100. That's just my thoughts, because that would mean that the Wolves' offense is just completely off, which is how they've lost every game that they've lost in the postseason.
Absolutely.
So that's just my thoughts on this. Obviously, this game starts in less than an hour. Reggie Wilson is out of that game.
The great.
So if you want to catch him in our 10 o'clock sportscast and also in our newscast, you can hear from him then about how things are panning out. Also, we're going to have a postcast right here on KARE 11 Plus. So you're going to want to stick around after the game. We are going to have live post-game sound
Tune in.
that coming up. So stay up late and tune in.